Untitled Chapter, and today I'll be doing an energetic healing from the past week. Alright, so I'll mention the decks I used as I use them. I'll also mention when it's time for you to utilize your own intuition. And with that being said, my gorgeous collective, let's get into the cards. So, the first deck I used, it's called Énergie de guérison. As you can hear, it is a French deck. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but it is the French deck with written writing, and I will translate as I read. And this deck is from Mario Duguay. Now, what the name of the deck is basically energetic healing. Yep. And the card that I pulled was Manifestation de la Lumière, manifestation of light. I have a feeling I pulled this a couple weeks ago. I can't remember if it was last week, but the writing sure seems a little different. In any case, it says, Je suis à la découverte du beau en moi. I am discovering what is beautiful within myself. Je travaille mon intérieur pour grandir. I work on myself in order to grow, et me développer dans l'harmonie, and develop myself with harmony. Within harmony, le beau en moi est plus fort que le mal. The good in me is stronger than what's bad, than the less than favorable, than the bad, is what it says. En me libérant de mes défauts de caractère, by freeing myself of my character flaws, mon cœur se transforme, my heart transforms itself, et mon intellect se purifie, and my intellect purifies itself. Then it says, Je fais grandir ma lumière intérieure. I expand my internal light. Does that make sense? And it also came out to the left. So that to me means that it really works on this week. Right? Gonna press. Now the next card that I pulled was from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart, about how you feel about what is going to be felt, healed, should I say. And you got feeling alone in the reverse. Now, the keywords in this are lack, abandoned, insecurity, support. Right? And seeing it as this in the reverse, it just means that this week, maybe it's not what I'm getting is that you feel alone. You're feeling alone in the fact with the people that surround yourself with, that surround you, if that makes any sense. To me, that just means that people around you are surrounded by people, but I feel like the people that surround you aren't really that beneficial, aren't really helping you get to where you want to get to this week. That was my intuition, so please, if that does not resonate, listen to what your intuition is telling you. Alright, so the next is the recognition and reward, pointing towards the left. And it's also a card of red borders. So usually that is the first, physical borders. That's just pentacles. So the representation of pentacles, pointing towards the left, which to me means that it happened in the past, or it's happening super slowly. So, well, just by feeling, if I follow what I was saying about the feeling alone, and isolated, that was in the reverse, which was also a red bordered card, right? In the reverse. And the message that came with that was that, you know, what you are currently going through is that you're surrounded, but you feel alone. You don't feel connected to people around you. And seeing as that is the case, I feel like recognition and reward are being pointing towards the left, are taking time to come in, is what I'm picking up, right? Because the recognition and reward card says a reward for a job well done is what this card represents. Maybe not so much. It's a time of recognition for a completed project, hard work, skill, expertise, and craftsmanship. Maybe you acknowledge that you have completed something, but the people around you are not, right? Then the next card is, these abilities are now being honored, but don't forget to also pay homage to yourself. Pat yourself on the back, you deserve it. Maybe you're the only one recognizing that you've done what you've done, and so you should be the one patting yourself on the back, which isn't necessarily what people would prefer, but it's better than nothing, you know, especially if people are not saying much, you know. Then the next card is, this card also comes forth to represent a family or a group of people coming together, all of whom are aiming to strive towards a common goal. Accept the help that's being offered. More possibilities are in the works, so be sure to lay a solid foundation from your past achievements, and this will help you be ready for the next opportunity. In addition, this card is a reminder to take care of your physical body. After all, it's what carries your soul around in this material world. So, this might be coming in slowly. For those for whom this is coming in slowly, it just says pat yourself on the back, because others are clearly not doing it, so you need to do it for yourself. And for those for whom this happened in the past, this just means that you persevered, even if people didn't believe in you, even if people didn't recognize your genius, you didn't care, you just went ahead and did it anyway, right? Now, the next card, the card from Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein, I pulled one card, the card I pulled about how will the universe support you during this healing. It says, I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. What is it that I'm picking up from this card? Well, first of all, I'm getting that a better way to get closer to consciousness is through meditation. Okay. So this, I don't know how owls sleep, but this owl is standing upright with its eyes closed. That could be a meditation, that could be a being pensive, and all those things. So what I'm getting is that your next step will come through meditation, is what I'm getting. I haven't even started energetically healing anyone, and I'm already parched. A lot of energy is moving, is what I'm getting. Alright, now, I will move on to the energetic healing portion with my trusty pendulum, my trusty Aquamarine pendulum, right? Actually, it's a weaver. My trusty Aquamarine weaver. And with that being said, you can follow along if you wish. I would definitely suggest you do, or I feel like it will affect you more. You can follow it as meditation, you can close your eyes, or you can just listen to me talk by watching me, whatever you wish, right? So, this week, what is interesting is that it's all about you finding and following the light within yourself without the need for outside validation. It's just following that inner guidance. It's following that knowing, that inner knowing, and all those things. It's understanding that there is much to do. Well, not much to do, but you have more work to do on yourself, because what I know is that the reality of your inner reality is reflected on your outer reality. Let me say that again. Your inner reality is reflected on your outer reality. So if what the outside, your outside looks like, and your outside circumstances look like, right, is basically a reflection of what your inside looks like. When I say inside, I mean the way you think, the way you, what you feel, how you, and all those things, right? I know an energetic healing is effective when I start yawning and when I start becoming thirsty. This is some heavy energy moving. I'm doing some heavy energy lifting. In any case, so your outer reality is a reflection of your inner reality. That's it. That's what I'm trying to say. Your if I can turn back time, if I can find a way to take back the words that hurt you. So you say, yeah. Let me just put this down. Inner reality. I guess I'll remember. Yes. Excuse me. So, what was I getting at? I was getting at... Yes. So, you just being comfortable with it, with what you're creating, and not necessarily needing other people's validation in order to create. Clearly, people are important, but sometimes, until you get to a certain point, people won't recognize or acknowledge your work. And that's perfectly fine. Hell, most people won't even acknowledge you even after you get to a certain point, and they won't do anything so that they don't lessen their light, and that's perfectly fine. That's their decision. But you just need to remember that the important person in your life is you, and what your internal reality is reflected on your outer reality. Now, remember that what I'm being guided to talk of next is that just because you have all your physical needs met, on the external world does not mean that all your internal needs are being met. If you understand what I'm trying to say. Basically, your physical needs, yes, are important. They are, because if you don't have that, your life, you won't be in comfort, or something might go wrong physically and such. But ultimately, okay, what am I going to say? If your internal reality, that, like, your beliefs, how you feel within yourself, your thoughts aren't congruent with what it is that you want to create, the external reality that you have is not necessarily going to be in alignment, with everything else. If that did not make sense, I'm sorry. What do I want to say? If you want to be, the whole thing is about the fact that the people around you won't necessarily recognize that you become a success. Most probably because in their eyes, for you to be a success, you need to be a success in a certain fashion, in a certain way. And if you become successful in whatever way that is outside of those, how should I say it? Outside their conditions, you might not be worthy of recognition, of public recognition. It's interesting. I picked up on the reading in my readings this week. I did pick up a lot about publicly recognized success. Now, publicly recognized success comes when you've reached a certain point, and most probably won't even come from people that you surround yourself with. For some reason, they won't give you recognition because, I don't know for what reason, and it really doesn't really matter. But the important thing here is that you need to recognize your own successes, and you need to feel good with what you've created, and in so doing, alright, you will be more content, because you won't necessarily need other people's recognition, but, it's the wrong word, and because the universe is because your reality is a reflection of your internal reality, because you are fine with whatever comes, right? Let it be negative stuff, let it be positive stuff, let it be, stuff that you, like, people, if you are good in any situation, whatever happens, even if the worst things happen, and you're still good with that, the universe will recognize, God, whatever you prefer, will recognize that, and then will give you better and better things, because you've proven yourself worthy, right? So if, in reality, the big problem here is that not a lot of people are recognizing your success yet, alright? I feel like it's not that big a deal. The only person that needs to recognize your success, first and foremost, is yourself. Because once your internal reality is that you are successful, hell, your external reality has nothing else to do but reflect your internal reality. So in reality, I'm using that word a lot, in actual fact, the most important thing to remember is that it doesn't really matter what other people think. The only person whose thoughts matter are yours, you know? And if you're fine with where you're at, then you're golden, is what I'm getting. Because, yeah, but living life like it goes, and living life like it goes. I don't know if that's the actual words of the song, but that's what I heard. Yeah. Well, see, if you are living life like you're golden, like you're well off, even if you don't actually have the physical manifestations of it, you will actually be attracting all those things to you. And some people might not know how. And the actual fact is you don't need to know how. Neither do anybody else. Okay? Nada. Yes. No one needs to know. The only important person who needs to know what's going on is you. That's it. That's all. Yeah, so see, it says I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. Getting closer to source is another word that's coming to mind. If you do whatever it takes to get to source, and you strengthen the bond that you have with source, you're good. That is what's coming to mind. Because source is getting your information from source is basically you knowing what needs to get done. I just saw 11:11 on the clock. Yeah. All that's important is that you connect with consciousness, with a higher consciousness, that you connect with the angels, you connect with your guides, whatever you connect with. Something of a higher power that will allow you to understand that in actuality, you don't need other people's recognition. You got it all by yourself. And you can do it again and again and again all by yourself without them having to say a thing. You know? Why? Because you know what you're doing. And at some point when you get to actual complete success and that people will come to you for advice, you know, on how to become successful themselves, I feel like I don't feel like anything. I feel like when you get to that point, that's what I mean. When you get to that point, that's when people are actually something is gonna click in their mind and like, oh, okay, we better watch out for this one. You know, they know what they're talking about. They understand what needs to get done. Yep. Possibly at that point, you'll be good. If that makes sense. Yeah. Well, so all of this to say that in reality, as much as as much as the current trend that I'm noticing is to be recognized, is to be liked, and to have likes, and be liked by others and whatnot, you know, be popular and all that jazz. And all that jazz. You know, it's just knowing that, first and foremost, if you're good with it, you're good with it. Other people are optional. You know what I mean? Yeah. Other people are optional. You're good. So, my gorgeous collective, that is all that I have for you guys this week. If you like this and if you'd like me to go deeper into your specific situation, please contact me at the email in the box below. It will be my pleasure to assist. In that same box, you'll find a little description of this video and my price. Now, like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell to be notified when I post new stuff, as well as leaving me a comment, because I adore comments. I read them all, I may not answer all of them, but I absolutely read them all. And with that being said, my gorgeous collective, I wish you guys all a very good week, and I'll see you next time, okay? Bye.